Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Arroyo here, president of the Yavapai County Preparedness Team and leader of the Oath Keepers of Yavapai County, coming to you with another firearms video and a recommendation on what I consider to be a top priority for everybody to have in their survival arsenal. And no, it's not an AR-15. This is something more common that everybody should have, and I'm going to give you some very explicit reasons as to why you should have a gun similar to this, if not this one in particular. So today what we're going to talk about is the Ruger American. Open it up, check the chamber, we're good. This is a very, very reliable bolt-action rifle. A good .22 rifle has numerous uses, but I'm going to go over some of the quick features on this. Number one, it has a Ruger 10/22 magazine. This is something that probably most of you out there, if you own a .22 rifle, you have a Ruger 10/22. This uses the same magazine. So it's got a 10-round rotary magazine. It does have a slotted rail on top for tip-off rings, but it's also drilled and tapped so that you can put a set of Weaver bases on there. It does have iron sights with a front sight with a fiber optic. The other advantage to this barrel is that it is threaded so that you can put your sound suppressor on there and it's all ready to go. The other thing I like about this rifle is that if you do decide to put an optic on it, what you need to do is take this off, and it comes with the accessory stock, and it has a higher comb, and you just simply unscrew the sling swivel stud, slide it off the back, slide the other one on. Now it gives you a raised comb so that you can look through your optic better. So that was a really good selling point when we started selling these guns, and we've gone through a bunch of them. This is the 16-inch barrel. They do have them available with the 22-inch barrel that is not threaded, so you can order it in any configuration. So what I like to, the other advantage too, if you look in the back, and I love to put things in the back of buttstocks. So this gives you a compartment for survival gear, spare ammo, a small fishing kit. So it's a good little survival gun. Put the stud back into the base of the buttstock, screw it down, and that's it, ready to go. Okay, very simple bolt release on the side. Bolt comes out, bolt comes back in, magazine, ready to go. So why am I recommending a bolt action rifle? Well, inherently, they're a little more accurate than most auto-loading rifles. Rugers are notoriously, I shouldn't say notoriously, but they're very popular and famously accurate and reliable. They're not known for breakage. This does have a safety bar on the trigger. It has a tang safety on the top, so it's ambidextrous. These are all very excellent features, but the reason I think it's incumbent on people who don't own a good quality .22 rifle, a couple of things you need to consider is pest control. What I mean by that is everybody in the rural areas, pest control is a problem. We have skunks, you could have rats, you could have any number of things that come into your yard that you're going to want to get rid of. The advantage to that is everybody knows that if there is a grid down environment and they are not able to pick up the garbage, and we have seen this happen in places like New York City, but also places like San Francisco and Los Angeles, where the rats start to take over. And a rat problem is extremely dangerous. You can end up with bubonic plague with rats. And we had a number of people in downtown Los Angeles, this is in City Hall and around City Hall, bitten by rats because it just got so out of control with the homeless population. So when garbage isn't picked up and you've got too many people living on the streets, rats can become a problem. In a rural area, if garbage isn't picked up, you're going to need to make sure you can bury it or burn it. But as a general rule, rats will become a problem. So this is something you can use to get rid of pests with a variety of types of ammunition, including quiet ammo, which is very subsonic. It's super quiet stuff. With a sound suppressor, you don't even hear the round. It's so quiet. The other main issue is taking small game for hunting. Squirrels, any kind of bird that lands near a tree, you can take with a .22 rifle. Believe it or not, and we're not advocating this because it's not legal, but poachers have used .22 caliber rifles to poach deer for years. So it does have the capability of taking larger game. And when people get hungry and they need to eat, you're going to want to keep a low profile. If you dispatch a deer with a high-powered rifle, the whole world knows where you're at. You do it with something like this, this is after everything collapses, then there's a less chance of people are going to know where you're at. Defensive purposes. Yes, you can defend yourself with a .22 rifle. Okay, there's an old adage, nobody wants to be shot with anything. But .22s are extremely lethal if done properly. Something like a Stinger hollow point does a great job. And it's just something that if that's all you have, then yes, this rifle can be used for defensive purposes. I'll tell you this from a military historical perspective, the Russians found out the hard way when they slugged it out many, many years ago with the Chechens. And the Chechens were known for shooting Russians with .22 rimfire guns, because when you touch off a .22 inside of a building and shoot out of a window, basically that building becomes one great big giant sound suppressor. So it was hard to tell where they were at. So don't let anybody ever tell you that .22 long rifle and rimfire cartridges weren't used on the battlefield. They were and always have been. Ammunition right now, it's available everywhere. Everybody's got .22 ammo. I can tell you this, working in the firearms industry, there was a time when .22s pretty much disappeared. Everybody remembers when a brick of .22s cost over $100 at a gun show. We had them on our counter for $50 all during that time period, and people still went to the local gun shows, stood in line to pay $100 for a brick of .22s. It's unbelievable the way people think when they're buying guns and ammo. So right now it's readily available. Most everybody was smart enough to stock up on rimfire ammo because it's also going to be exceptionally good for bartering. .22, we call it the coin of the realm because everybody has a .22 rifle. So that means everybody's sitting on a pile of ammunition that can be traded because it's something everybody's going to need. If you want extended magazines for it, they are available. Ruger BX25. And then they also make BX15s. They're shorter, but then they have the doubles that are stacked together, the BX50s. It's just one side by side. So yeah, there are extended magazines available because everybody always wants to add more magazines. What else? Ammo right now is fairly inexpensive. A lot of ammo is still available for .22s in the $4.95 a box of 50. Aguilas, made in Mexico, very good quality ammo. I've shot a lot of that lately and tested it. It works fantastic. A lot of other American-made ammo is stabilizing a little bit right now. It hasn't gone up a lot, but Stinger hollow points are about $11 for a box of 50. Your CCI mini mags, sometimes a little tougher to find. You're looking at about $12 a box of 100 or so. So ammo's not expensive. It's easy to find. Right now, virtually every shop has .22 ammo. The other advantage with this gun is rifle practice. Just simple marksmanship training, okay? It's very expensive to get out there, even with an AR these days, at the price of ammo. But if you want to keep your skill set up steel swingers or steel knockdown targets, the flip-ups, and get out there and train. Just work on your trigger squeeze, breathing, your sight alignment, all your basics for any kind of rifle marksmanship. Using a .22 rifle will keep your skill sets up, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg on ammo. So another advantage to something like this is it's very lightweight. These guns are good for the kids. They do make youth model stocks for them. So there's a lot of stuff out there, accessory-wise, you can put onto these guns. It's one of those that, again, it's something everybody should have, is a good quality .22 rifle. If you have a 10-22 already, good to go, same thing. Auto loaders, You can shoot much quicker if you're hunting with it. You can get lots of optics for it. The nice thing about the 1022s is they're already drilled and tapped on the top, just like the Ruger American. And they come with a rail already for your scope. What I recommend, though, is put an accessory rail on your 1022s, especially if you're having a hard time getting your scopes to mount, because the slots available on a 1022 mount aren't as versatile. Put a Picatinny rail on the top. Makes it a whole lot better. It's easier to mount up. Unfortunately, on this gun, they don't make a pick rail for it. It's drilled and tapped, so you're going to have 2 Weaver bases, but you'll need a longer scope tube, so you'll have adjustment on your eye relief, which is critical. You just push your front sight down, go with a set of bases and a high rings, and you're just fine with the accessory. There's lots of scopes out there you can put on there. Get it while you can. This is important. We're still able to order these rifles. They're still out there, but they're not as readily available as they were. Ruger cranks out as many of them as they possibly can. So check your local shops if you need to special order it. The longer barrel without the threaded will give you a little more range. A 22 rifle can be good out to 100 yards, not a problem. We've hit small objects at 100 yards without any trouble at all. The reason I like the shorter barrel is for compactness. Inside of a building, it maneuvers nicely, but the idea is to have something that can take small game or use for pest control, and as a last resort, it is a good defensive weapon if you know how to use it. Do not let anyone tell you that the 22 long rifle won't stop somebody. It will. It's not a man stopper. In other words, not going to do it quickly, but it will stop. So that's another advantage to something like this. Get out and train. That is the most important thing. What we're seeing right now, because we train our security team every 30 days, we're in the field once a month, like clockwork. And yes, they are perishable skills. We have a lot of guys that are former law enforcement or former Arizona Rangers or former this, that, or the other, former military. If you're not out training on a routine basis, then yeah, your skill set is perishable and your scores will go down. And really the only way to know that is to shoot some sort of a qualification course. For us, we use the ASPOST Arizona Police Officer Standards of Training handgun course, and that lets us know where our skill sets are at any given time. And we'll do that every 3-4 months on a routine basis, in addition to all of our other type of training. And then we'll mix in long gun training in there as well. So that's our main recommendation. Shop around. I, of course, living here in northern Arizona, Macy's and Chino Valley, I've got these available, and we're trying to get more because I did a special lecture on this at one of our main meetings and they started to go. So we're selling them pretty quick. But if you live anywhere else out of the county or in Phoenix, you'll find them out there. But just check around. Not that big a deal. So, okay, guys, that's it. We'll catch you on the next video and have a great day.